What's up, everybody? I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'll be doing my post-fight show for UFC 328. Overall, man, the card I thought was spectacular. Is it the best card this year? I still think that was UFC Seattle, but this was the best numbered event by far for me. I mean, UFC 327 had some really good fights, but I feel like this is going to be more memorable and honestly had some better fights. Although, I mean, apples to oranges, right? Josh Hockey versus Curtis Blades was amazing, but this had some other great fights, great finishes overall. But I think right now, UFC 328 is the best card or best number card this year. I still think the Seattle card's best card. Now, in terms of my predictions, I thought really well on this card. I went 9-4, so which brings our total to 128 to 62. And overall, like I said, I thought I did really well up until I got to the two title fights. Man, go figure. I picked there would be a new champion, and I picked one champion would stay. It was just the reverse of what I picked. So funny how it works like that. So though, absolutely fantastic fights. We'll get to the main event, which was mind-blowing how Sean Strickland defeated Hamzat. The co-main event, which was fireworks. I thought it would be the best fight of the card, and I guess I was proven right on that part. But enough of that. Let's get on to our post-fight show. First fight up. Sorry about that. First fight on the card. Jose Ochoa defeated Clayton Carpenter via unanimous decision. I mean, this is pretty cut and dry to break down. Jose Ochoa put on a striking clinic against Clayton Carpenter and really showed some tricks that a striker in general should use against a grappler or / wrestler. Jose Ochoa, his forward pressure was nice. His combinations, oh my God, his combinations were beautiful. There was one moment in round 2, he landed a right, I believe it was a left hand to the body, a right uppercut to the head, and then a left straight to the head once again. Just some of the combos Jose Ochoa just threw were so beautiful. And this is something I think more strikers need to do, attack the body. That is going to be such a big weapon, I think, against wrestlers because they're already going to be lowering their stances, getting ready for a takedown. Just one clean shot to that body, man, and that could do a number on them. I mean, Clayton Carpenter, he failed on just about all of his takedowns except for one when Ochoa got overzealous in the third, but he didn't really do anything with the control time he had. No submissions, some ground and pound, but Jose Ochoa, his takedown defense was too good. His scrambling was really good. I mean, he beat shit out of Clayton Carpenter. There's no other way to describe it. By the end of that, Clayton Carpenter looked a different color. His nose was busted up. His legs were mincemeat, especially that lead leg of his. Just a fantastic performance by Jose Ochoa, plain and simple. Now, where they go from here, it's tough for Clayton Carpenter because this is his third straight loss in a row. But, Tagir Ulanbekov, Rafael Filho, and Jose Ochoa, they're not bad names to lose to, but you really don't want to elevate somebody off a loss. It's still a loss at the end of the day. So for Carpenter, Daniel Barez and Luis Gurule are fighting this week. He could fight maybe the winner of that. I would say the loser, but I think the loser of that fight would get cut. So I think that for Jose Ochoa, he showed he's really good. He has a good win over Cody Durden. It'd be weird. I know it's like one guy coming off a win, one guy coming off a loss, but I want Jose Ochoa to continue slowly marching up the ranks. So I would think maybe him and Rafael Filho would be a great fight nonetheless. And although I don't know their teammates, that's the one thing I'm concerned about. But I'm pretty sure Filho trains with different gym, not Chuta Box. So why not? I know Filio's coming off a loss, but hey, why not, right? It's good experience for Jose Ochoa for sure. So that's what I think. Either that or the loser of Alan Nascimento and Mitch Ramirez. Moving up on the card. Beisinger Sursakayev defeated the Jordan Santos via third round rear naked choke. So I had said this before when he fought Eric McConaughey. He got a third round win. I don't think Sursakayev is all that. Yeah, he's undefeated. Yeah, he got a good win. Strangled Santos in the third round it was pretty good. But man, I don't think Sursakayev is all that, to be honest with you. I believe this. He will not stay undefeated if he keeps fighting the way he fights. Now, of course, he's 24 to 25. He's super young. He's going to get better. That's just a given. But I just don't really believe in it. His striking's very good. His wrestling's good. His grappling's good. He's well-rounded. He's a well-rounded threat. But man, that guy plays with his food too much. He showboats a little too much. And don't get me wrong, I like showboating as much as the next guy. It makes it fun. But there's a difference between, like, I don't know, Cody Garbrandt doing the robot when he knocks down Cruz, and then this guy and then Sursakayev, who's immediately showboating. And what happens? He gets clipped right afterwards. Like, you gotta know when to do it. You know what I mean? Just space it out. Do it all the time. Because there were times Jordan Santos landed nice straight punches, got a nice shiner on Sursakayev too. I mean, I still think Sursakayev won most of the striking exchanges. Don't get me wrong, like especially those leg kicks, but also some of his boxing. But I mean, Jordan Santos had his moments in the fight, especially whenever Sursakayev started to shell up. You can see Santos kind of gripping and then firing off uppercuts or hooks over the guard. Like I said, man, I think if Sursakayev fights anybody who's pretty decent, I don't want to say gets exposed, but he's gonna struggle in that fight for sure. But who do they give him next, right? I mean, so far, who has he beaten? He beat Eric McConaughey, pretty good name. Eric Nolan, a welterweight who moved up, and now Jordan Santos, who, I don't want to say is a scrub, but definitely not of the level. I guess if you want to give him a good next test, I would think maybe Sursakayev versus, I would say Ikram Aliskov, but that might be a little too much too soon. Maybe Iron Turtle, Jung Young Park, or, I mean, it's a stretch, but maybe if Edmund Shabazian loses to Brendan Allen, then I can definitely see that in the cards, just a good next test. Or maybe even, hell, the winner of Brad Tavares and Marc-Andre Barrio. I mean, they're often given the prospects too, so that can work out. For Santos, I mean, he's got some names he can fight. I think maybe the loser of Urusi and Ruziboyev and Andrei Pulayev, or actually, I take it back, maybe the winner of that fight, could be next for him. I mean, someone of a brawler type sense. I would say Ozzy Diaz, but they already fought, so we'll see how that goes. Still, Sursakayev, at the end of the day, he's still undefeated. Moving up on the card, Pat Sabatini defeated William Gomis via unanimous decision. He walled and stalled to a win right there. I mean, I get it. You got to do what you have to win, even if it's boring. I mean, I'm not going to come up here and say it was entertaining. There were a few moments where I was like, oh my God. It was mostly when Sabatini had to strike with Gomis. I mean, I give credit to Gomis. His takedown defense was on point in this fight. I mean, he's always had good takedown defense and good get-ups, but like, to do that against Sabatini, who historically is very good with his takedowns, even better with his grappling, it does show at least a level of growth in Gomis' game where it's like, if you're wrestling or grappling dominant, it ain't going to be easy to take this guy down. Now, Gomis now has to work on getting out of the fence and getting out of the clinch situations. But I think if Gomis can shore that up, he's going to be a big problem. I mean, his striking is really good already. And he was tagging Sabatini the few times they were out in the center of the ring. But most of it was Sabatini shooting for a double and or single, sometimes trying to elevate Gomis up. But Gomis was simply too tall and extremely well balanced. Also, strength, that was another part of it too. Gomis is just very physical. He's a little bit how do I want to say this? I want to say he's underrated, but he's very deceptive. Like, there are moments where, he looks like just your average, really technical, but nothing spectacular French kickboxer. But then you watch moments where, like, he fights Robert Ruchala or the fight with Joannes Brito, and you see he has skills. He's very good. He just fights. It's just a safety first style. Now, with that said, Pat Sabatini still won. He got most of the control time, and that is what won him the fight at the end of the day. Again, not the most exciting fight, but he got the win. That's all that matters. That said, even with the win like this, I don't see Sabatini moving up to fight top 15 talent. I just don't see that. I mean, I think he should. I think he should fight David Onoma but I just don't know the UFC is going to do that for him. He might have to fight a Luis Quieta next or something like that. As for William Gomes, I think him and Jose Delano would be an amazing fight. Very good technical striking between the two. So yeah, I think that's the way to go. So for Sabatini, still got the win. Now, moving up on the card. Roman Kopylov defeated Marco Tulio via unanimous decision. It was your kind of classic open stance fight. Kopylov, South stance, Tulio in orthodox. And it kind of played out how I kind of thought it would, at least in the first round. Tulio had, I think, a bit more firepower. That being said, both were tagging each other a few times. And since both of them are more or less snipers, although more Kopylov than Tulio, there would be a lot of sequences where you see them like trading one shot for one shot and clearly somewhat respecting the other's power. But I still think Tulio won the first round because I thought he was a bit more aggressive than Kopylov, at least in most aspects. Though you could see Tulio had an idea of how he wanted to strike. He would post with his left hand and then fire off to the body with the right hand. That's most of what his striking success was. It was just that post or just a hand fight with the left and then fire off the right hand. Then round two comes along, and it's more or less the same idea. Both are trading strikes up until Tulio throws somewhat of a lazy leg kick, and then Kopylov did exactly the right counter for a leg kick. He stepped forward, took the kick, and then fired off a jab cross from southpaw, with that cross specifically dropping Tulio. Had him badly hurt, and I thought he was going to get the knockout. And then Kopylov, I don't know why he clinched with Tulio. He had him hurt. He let him live. I just can't explain it. I mean, it was just low fight IQ move, or I don't know, not even low fight IQ. That's not the right word. It's just like the killer instinct. Like, I don't get it. Like, this is Roman Kopylov, a guy who's known to have great killer's instinct, and he does something like that. What's even crazier is in the third round, he dropped Tulio with the same combo, jab cross. And what happened? He let him live. He just followed him to the ground. I really don't understand why some strikers just follow their opponent who, when they drop them to the ground, I don't get it. You look at someone like Carlos Prates. I might as well say that because the commentary were just talking about Carlos Prates the whole time. Like, you look at someone like Prates, he lets his opponents get back up, continues the bombardment of strikes. I don't know why more strikers don't do that. I don't know if it's just low fight IQ or what, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kopylov still won the round off the damage in round 3 and round 2, so he won the fight at the end of the day. But man, that's just some low fight IQ move, because if he didn't drop Tulio in round 3, he might have lost that round, to be honest with you. Still, Kopylov won. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Now, where do they go from here? I mean, it's a rough loss for Tulio, right? 2-0, or sorry, now he's on a 2-fight skid. I mean, he's not lost to bad names, right? Christian Leroy Duncan, top 15. Kopylov, former top 15. It's not like they're bad fighters. I think you might feed him to Yusri Balgorian, or you give him Asmat Bakoyev, who's also on a 2-fight skid. So that could work out. As for Kopylov, I want to see him fight the winner of Michel Pereira and Sharabola. That's the fight. So, though, good win for Kopylov. Definitely needed it. Moving up on the card, Jim fucking Miller submits Jared Gordon in round number 1. Honestly, when I look at all my picks for this card, I think Jim Miller was basically my big underdog of the card. Like, I picked a few, but I definitely think Jim Miller was the big underdog for me in this card. And boy, was my faith in him valid. I mean, not much really happened in the first round. I mean, this fight lasted 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Some striking moments in them. Jim Miller went for a few takedowns, but Jared Gordon easily stuffed them. I mean, he was the better wrestler. And other than a nasty kick to the cup, which took Jared Gordon a few minutes, at least 2 minutes to get back into it. Understandable. Eventually, they are back in the center of the ring. Miller throws a kick. Gordon catches it, and then instead of letting it go, he tries to sort of run it up the pipe, go for a takedown. And that's when Jim Miller latches on to that guillotine in an instant. And I mean, if there's one thing about Jim Miller that has aged like fine wine, I mean, he's aged like fine wine regardless, but man, that submission game of his is still nasty. He latches it on. At first, he doesn't have the legs locked in to secure the choke, but eventually he's able to. Even transitions, you could see he didn't get mount all the way. He didn't really need to, but you could see Miller was basically transitioning to mount to get the mounted guillotine. Again, he didn't need it at the end of the day. They basically got to their side, and Jared Gordon tapped. I mean, what can you say about Jim Miller that hasn't been said already? This man will definitely be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he has the most wins in this company's history. He has the second most wins via finish and the most UFC appearances. Like, I mean, he's what? 2 more fights away from getting 50 UFC fights, regardless of wins or losses. You know how crazy that is? I mean, he's 42. He's been fighting since I was 2 years old. That is insane. And he's still winning. He's still winning. It's crazy. It's crazy. And he's not just like winning boring decisions. He's finishing these guys who are like, I mean, in the case of Gordon, he was about 5 years younger, but sometimes well over. You just gotta love to see it. The post-fight interview was very heartfelt. I mean, talking about his son, how he was able to beat cancer was beautiful to hear. I mean, Jim Miller is such an inspirational story, and he got $100K out of it, which is good. He deserved it for sure. I mean, who do you pick Jim Miller to fight next? I mean, I know he isn't going to be around much longer, but I mean, man, 39-19. You know how crazy that is? He has like what, 58 fights? That it's just insane to see. It's insane to see. You know, if we're going to continue these old veterans fights, maybe Jim Miller versus Drew Gilbert. They've never fought before. You might as well put them together. That'd be a fun scrap. For Jared Gordon, tough break for Jared Gordon for sure. But who do you pick him up? I think maybe he should fight Chase Hooper. They're both on, loss streaks right now, and both of them have been finished in their last 2 fights. So I think it makes sense. Yeah, Jared Gordon versus Chase Hooper. But still, Jim fucking Miller. Moving up on the card. Oh, God. Grant Dawson defeats Mateusz Rebecki via submission via rear naked choke. So, sorry about that. I'm a little salty because I picked Rebecki to win, and it's not to take anything away from Dawson. In fact, Dawson did a fantastic job. But man, that fight IQ from Rebecki, it was almost Michael Chandler bad. Actually, I take that back. It was worse than Michael Chandler because actually I'll describe in the fight. So in the fight, what I thought definitely came to fruition in the fact that I definitely thought Grant Dawson would be the better technical wrestler, better technical grappler. Now, Rebecki had a few moments in the wrestling, mostly stuffing some of Dawson's takedowns, able to get the body lock, kind of press Dawson to the fence, land some short hammer fist along the way. But there was one moment in the first round that definitely you could see changed how Rebecki was fighting. It was when Grant Dawson landed a head kick, which was very impressive in general. Grant Dawson is not the best striker, but hey, man, that head kick landed flush. And you definitely saw it like immediately. I think it was either the kick or one other strike from Dawson, but it immediately started opening up Rebecki, which makes sense. He has a ton of scar tissue from his last 3 fights. Or I guess I should say a lot of scars from his last 3 fights. So Dawson is able to take advantage, and eventually he's able to get the back and basically have a standing back take for most of the round. And like I said, it was very impressive how technical of a grappler Grant Dawson is. Like his back take is probably the best, one of the best in the lightweight division. I'm not going to say it's the best, but yeah, his technical grappling was superb in this fight. Then in round 2, Rebecki hurt Grant Dawson with a left cross right hook. There was a hook that dropped Dawson because you can definitely see on the replay he didn't see the punch. And I thought Rebecki was going to get Dawson out of there. Harris like, yes, the the Dawson chin. But this is what you got to realize, I guess about Grant Dawson. The chin may be suspect, but the dude fights with his heart on his sleeves. He really does. He does not quit on himself. He will fight. I mean, if there's no obvious path to the takedown, then Dawson definitely is hesitant. You saw that like with Manuel Torres. But if he realizes he's going to have grappling success like he did in the first round, he's going to fight like a dog with a bone. Or he's going to be like a dog with a bone with that for sure. Now, in the third round, so Rembeski won the second round based off damage. Now, when the third round hit, at first it looked like it was going to go Rembeski's way. He was stuffing the takedowns. He was landing some ground and pound as he had the headlock, but he made a mistake staying there too long, and eventually Dawson circles around, gets his back. And then from there, basically Dawson rides out the round. It looks like Dawson was just going to stay on Rembeski's back. I mean, he did go for some submissions, but I mean, he's trying to choke out a human bowling ball, essentially. It's going to be hard. I mean, Rembeski just seemingly didn't have a neck. But eventually Dawson's able to fight it. He even goes for like an arm triangle or a reverse arm triangle where he tries it from the back. But eventually he's able to sink in the rear naked choke, textbook, Rembeski taps. I mean, Grant Dawson's really good. And he may not be the most exciting all the time, but I mean, when that guy performs, he performs. I mean, he's 24-3-1 for a reason. He's really good. And former top 15 for a reason. I do want to say this is a good win, but I don't know how much Rembeski is the same. I mean, to be fair, you fight Mitabek Orabai, Chris Duncan, and Ludovic Klein, and all of those are the wars he had. It's going to change a fighter no matter who you are, and I definitely think it changed Rembeski for the most part. So where do they go from here? For Rembeski, it is definitely tough. It is now a 3-fight losing streak he's on, but I feel like they're going to give him another shot. He's a fun fighter. I feel like if they don't give Jim Miller Drew Dober, then Drew Dober and Alex Rembeski is another way to go. As for Grant Dawson, dude, him and Beneil Dariush, easy fight to make. Both of them not the best strikers, though I do think Beneil's a better striker than Grant Dawson. Both of them are chinny, and both of them are superb grapplers. I definitely would be curious to see if Grant Dawson can handle the grappling of Beneil Dariush, because Beneil's a very good anti-grappler and offensive grappler himself. So I'd be curious to see how that plays out. So yeah, Grant Dawson, Benny D, that's an easy fight to make. At the end of the day, though, good job for Grant Dawson. Moving up on the card. Yaroslav Amosov defeats Yoel Alvarez via second round submission via an arm triangle. Oh my God. Yaroslav Amosov is the real deal. I mean, if you watched him during his Bellator career era, this guy was a talent for sure. And I know what people like to say is like, well, it's Bellator. How good is he really at the UFC level? And that's a fair critique, right? We've seen Patchy Mix do horribly. We've seen Patricio Pitbull not do as well, but to be fair, Patricio Pitbull is past his prime. And then we just saw Aaron Pico go 1-1 in the UFC right now. So that is a fair critique. Like, how good are these Bellator guys who come over? Well, Amosov is one of those guys who, I could tell you is UFC level. Granted, when I talked about him, he was making his debut against Neil Magny. So I was rewatching his fights in Bellator, but man, this guy's wrestling is so elite. I definitely think this guy can compete with Islam, compete with Sean Brady on the ground, because Amosov, his submission game, his wrestling game is nasty. Hell, his striking is pretty good too. There was a moment in the second round where he landed a right hand to a left high kick and landed on Alvarez. And while the striking was somewhat competitive, although I definitely think Alvarez was landing the better straight punches, better kicks, Amosov, once he got that wrestling going, it was a wrap. In fact, I feel like this fight played out exactly as I described it. Once Amosov went to the wrestling, he took down Yoel Alvarez pretty easily in the first round. Didn't really get to do much control time because Alvarez, to his credit, started to get back up. He used the fence to kind of post himself, try to break the hands. But eventually, when it came to round two, we saw some of Amosov striking. Like I said, the right hand to the high kick. But then we really saw how good that wrestling is. He went for the single, switches to the body lock, lifts up Yoel Alvarez. Understand this. He's lifting a guy who's like 6'3" in the air. like he weighs nothing. And then Alvarez falls to the ground, boom, Amazov immediately goes for that arm triangle, gets the squeeze, and it's over. This guy's squeeze, his chokes are the deadliest I have seen in most of these welterweight contenders. Like I kid you not, when Amazov gets a choke on these guys, they're gonna tap. It's gonna be over. I mean, the Anaconda for Neil Magny, the arm triangle for Alvarez. You just look at some of his other fights in Bellator. This guy is so good on the ground. I mean, really think about it. He's 32. He's 30-1. I understand most of this is his Bellator career. I don't care. You rarely see an MMA fighter with this kind of record at this point in his career. 30-1 is insane. I mean, he was undefeated for a long time up until Jason Jackson beat him. So, I mean, Amazov's good, man. Now, where do they go from here? Now, Amazov was ranked 14th in this fight, and it was mostly because of the rankings changes before it. But he's ranked 14th. You got to give him a top contender. You can't give him these unranked guys. He's just going to smash them. So who does he fight next? I would think maybe the loser of Gabriel Bonfim or Bilal Muhammad would be the perfect next test for Amazov. And or maybe you give him like a big boost and he fights like Sean Brady. I personally wouldn't want that fight yet. I do. Do I want to see Amazov and Brady fight? Yeah, absolutely. The grappling between those two would be excellent. But I think I would like to wait a little longer before that fight happens. So I think the loser of Bilal versus Bonfim makes the most sense for me. As for Alvarez, it's a tough loss, and now he's 1-1 at welterweight, but he fought a killer in Amazov, and I think Alvarez is still a good top 20-ish welterweight. So, it'd be weird. Maybe a weird fight, but maybe him versus Nicholas Dalby, just a good, I wouldn't say layup, but a good bounce back attempt for Alvarez for sure. Or actually, I take it back. He could fight Randy Brown too, so that's a good one. So the Amazov, fucking beast. Moving up to our featured prelim. Ateba Gatier destroyed another lamb in Ozzy Diaz. We got to stop feeding Ateba Gatier these types of guys. Like, all the respect in the world to Ozzy Diaz, but I looked this up. You combine the UFC records of all of Gatier's opponents, right? Jose Mendia, Robert Valentine, Tristan Vines, Andre Polayev, and Ozzy Diaz. They all combined for 3 UFC wins in total. That kind of says a lot, doesn't it? It really does. That says a lot, doesn't it? And what they combined to over 10 UFC losses between them. Although, granted, most of that is because of Jose Mendia, but still, my point stands. You got to give Gatier someone a bit better. Now, how this fight went, I mean, Gatier was still very patient in this fight. He landed some really good striking combos. I really liked when he went for the right straight into a left uppercut or a left straight to the body right uppercut. There's some times he would throw a left high kick, which was pretty deceptively fast. And then other times we got to at least see a bit of his defensive wrestling come into play. Now, Ozzy Diaz, there would be times he would time a really good takedown, but he just didn't have the technical skill nor the physicality to finish it. And so what would end up happening is he would just try and take Gatier down and really just move him to the fence, where Gatier would just fight the grips, separate, and then back to the center. Then after round 1, Ozzy Diaz, like I believe you could hear in his corner, he goes, his power isn't as bad. Oh, well. Ozzy Diaz, once he got hit clean, it was over. Because Ozzy Diaz, he throws a jab, a pretty lazy jab, honestly. And what he did, he made a critical mistake. He didn't retract his hand as soon as he threw it. Usually when you throw a strike, you want to throw it and then immediately return it to your head to avoid a counter. Ozzy Diaz threw it, but then he was slow on the return. And so Gatier fired a overhand right, or basically, yeah. an overhand right that slammed right in the temple of Ozzy Diaz. His legs just gave out from under him. Ref immediately jumps in. Fair stoppage. I mean, Diaz was only going to get more battered if that continued. So it's a good performance by Gautier where he still shows how scary of a prospect he is. Again, I know Pelayev gave him a tough time, but I mean, Pelayev is pretty good technically speaking. But you got to give Gautier somewhat of a higher level. 5 guys, again, 3 wins in total between all 5 of those guys in the UFC. Yeah, it's time to give them a step up. Now, I know he called Adesanya. I think that's a bit of a I think that's too much of a gap. I think that's a bit too much too soon. He's only 24. Now, does he beat Adesanya? Maybe. I do believe Adesanya is washed, but I still think that's a little too far up the ranks. That being said, I mean, he could fight, I think, the winner of Runa Fajera, Ikram Meleskov. I think that's fair. He should fight the winner of that. Or he could fight a Roman Kopylov who just won on this card. Or, hell, he could maybe fight the winner of Marvin Vettori, Ismail Nordiev. Any one of those guys would be a good next step for Gautier. So one of those. For Ozzy Diaz, I mean, it's a tough loss. I don't know if they cut him from this. I mean, he has a win against Jordan Santos, but he got destroyed by Minyang Zhang and Ateba Gautier. But still, I don't think they cut him just yet. They might give him another chance. Who knows? They could feed him Marco Tulio. I really don't know what they're going to do with Ozzy Diaz, to be honest. But still, that was our prelims. Now, moving up to our main card opener. Before I continue, if you liked the video so far, make sure to like, subscribe, and then comment down below on your thoughts on the card. In our main card opener, Kane Green submitted Jeremy Stephens in the first round via rear naked choke. Man, I gotta say, Bobby Green winning a fight in 2026 via submission. Yeah, not on my bingo card. I don't think it was on most people's bingo cards. If you actually bet Bobby Green by submission, congratulations. You probably won a lot of money. But, I mean, this fight played out, honestly, I think how most people expected it. Bobby Green was just more elusive than Stephens. Was just picking him apart from range, plain and simple. Either the stomping knee kicks Green would throw or the teeps to the gut were keeping Stephens at range. I think there were 2 strikes in total Jeremy Stephens landed cleanly. A right hand that hit the forehead of Green, and then there was one moment they got into the clinch and Stephens landed an elbow off the break. But that was it. Stephens, he mostly just threw like big overhands, and you could see it was like that bare knuckle he was doing kind of played into a factor because there weren't really any kicks. There was no real setups. He was just brawling like it's BKFC. I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm just saying that BKFC is not going to translate to MMA. It's just not. And so after, again, Bobby Green mostly winning the striking exchanges, he's landing the bare jabs, he's landing good kicks. There was one moment he accidentally hit the cup, but that gave, I think it was like 80 seconds or something like that. Stephens got back to the fight. But eventually Green goes for a takedown and starts landing some really good ground and pound, honestly. Nice elbows in close, hammer fist. Now, I had to remind myself, this is New Jersey, so the rules, they couldn't throw the 12-6, nor could they knee an opponent if they had their hand posted, which is just stupid. But I digress. Green eventually is able to secure the back after fighting off a Kimura sweep attempt by Stephens. Gets the back, gets the rear naked choke. And now Stephens does do a good job of trying to fight the hooks off, but by the time he did, the choke was already in and it was already tight as a drum around the neck. He had to tap. Man, there really is an interesting story with King Green, isn't there? He truly is someone who's just like so good with adversity that comes his way. Like this guy was on a 2-fight skid where he got choked to sleep by Paddy Pimblett, and then Marcinho Hufi made him a highlight reel. And I thought that might have been the end for King Green. But now, 3-fight win streak, decision over Lance Gibson Jr., knocked out Zellhuber, and now submits Jeremy Stephens. I can't say these are the greatest of wins, but the fact that Green at this stage of his career is still being able to pull a win streak together, 2 of those by finish. It just speaks volume to how good he is and how much experience fucking matters in this game. Just so it's amazing what you can do with just some of the experience they have. I mean, to be fair, Green is like 35. He's 35, 17-1. He has a shit ton of fights. But where do they go from here, man? Jeremy Stephens, I go back to BKFC. I don't know how this guy who was a featherweight for many, many years misses weight at lightweight. Like, he weighed in at 160. I don't think he really cared. And also, you saw him take off the gloves. I think that he put him in the center, but the UFC never actually got a chance to give Stephens the microphone. But, I mean, I just don't think MMA is the right sport for Stephens anymore. I mean, he hasn't won a fight in MMA since 2018. That really should tell you something. So I think BKFC is the right move for Jeremy Stephens. He does much better over there. I think that's just better for him. As for King Green, I mean, could he potentially fight for a ranking? I mean, it's not that crazy to think. He does do good numbers. I know. I mean, does he fight Renato Moicano? I mean, it'd be fun personality-wise, but I don't know if they do that big of a jump for Green. He might fight another unranked guy. And if he does, I think maybe Rafa Garcia is the right step up. So, though, awesome. Respect to King Green, man. Also, it's kind of bullshit he didn't get his performance bonus. Dana White, I mean, you saw the post-fight interview, right? Nah, we won't give you 100K, but we'll give you some custom shorts. Yeah, that's what a consolation prize, I'll tell you what. Moving up on the card. Sean Brady defeats Joaquin Buckley via unanimous decision. I mean, this was just an ass whooping in terms of grappling, right? I mean, 2 of the judges gave it 30-25. That means like Brady got 2 rounds that means 2 of the rounds were 10-8 for Brady. Like, that just shows the dominance he had. Honestly, I think he beat Buckley better than Usman. I understand it was different circumstances, right? 5-round fight to 3 and all that. But man, the grappling of Sean Brady is something to fear in this welterweight division. And I had said it. I know, like, I had seen some people like pick Buckley. They were going like, Brady doesn't have a chin. He's going to get knocked out, yada, yada, yada. And respectfully, I do understand why some people thought Buckley could pull off the knockout against Sean Brady. You know, the very explosive, got knockout power. Brady got knocked out not that long ago. Here's the thing, though. You got to be someone like Michael Morales to do what he did because, I mean, Morales is a behemoth, or sorry, he's a fucking giant at welterweight. I don't know how that guy makes the weight, but you're talking about a guy who walks around like the 200s, like 200 to 190s, or high 190s at best, against Buckley, who was going to be actually undersized in this fight, at least compared to Brady. Like, Brady walks around the 190s, Buckley walks around at like 185. He doesn't cut that much weight, which I give credit. He's fighting in his more natural weight class, I think. But, I mean, the grappling dominance from Sean Brady was impressive. Every time he got Buckley down, it was mostly off of a failed kick or knee by Buckley, though. But there were some times Brady just got a traditional takedown. He would immediately get to half guard, get to full mount, and then from there, ride out the round. Now, there was a moment, I think it was round 2, where Buckley got up, and seemingly he might have stunned Brady, but it didn't matter. Brady immediately got to that takedown, got to mount again, and did the Donkey Kong on Buckley's face, just slamming him like a drum, just bop, 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 bop. It was just so impressive. I mean, look, I can definitely see people complaining it wasn't the most entertaining, and that is fair. But understand this, the fact that Brady was able to control a guy as strong and as explosive as Buckley, it really speaks to the skill level that this guy's grappling has. Also, it's just crazy how the betting lines changed. I mean, Sean Brady was a minus 170 around the week of the fight. Then the day before, he's a plus like 200. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. And I was definitely concerned about this, but you know, it happened with Steve Versek, Tim Elliott. I think it's just some guys who are betting like the day of, like a lot of money on the underdog, and that's what changes it. That could be it. You know, I don't think it's not every time it's like some fucking scandal, or at least I don't think anyway. But yeah, Brady did awesome. Now, who does he fight? Again, I want him and Yaroslav Amosov to fight one day. Absolutely, I do. but I think maybe just wait a little bit for that fight. Instead, if I think Amazov should fight the loser of Bilal versus Bonfim, I definitely think Brady should fight maybe the winner of that fight. Or, better yet, he could fight Jack Della Maddalena. And to be honest with you, I think he can win that fight, honestly. If he's able to take down JDM, he's going to win that fight. As for Buckley, this is a very disheartening loss, and I was pretty high on Joaquin Buckley at welterweight, but the dude just has a weakness with wrestlers. It's just a matter of fact. And I know he can improve. I know Buckley's, in his prime still. He's going to get better, but definitely got to work on that wrestling because some of these welterweights are going to ragdoll him. But as for next step up, I think Mike Malott is probably the next step up. So yeah, Buckley versus Malott. I think Brady versus JDM is the way to go. So though, as a Philadelphia native, someone from Philly myself, go Birds, go Brady. Moving up on the card. Alexander Volkov defeats Waldo Cortez Acosta via unanimous decision. So I'm in the consensus that Volkov did win the fight. I do agree. And I also am in the consensus that I'm a little confused as to the 30-27. Don't get me wrong, I thought Volkov won the fight, but I don't think he won every round. So though, again, I thought I kind of nailed how this fight went for the most part. I definitely thought it would be a more technical kickboxing match or just a more technical striking fight than you're used to seeing at heavyweight. And that stayed true. Like Volkov used a lot of his long range attacks, kicks to the inner thigh, body kicks, the occasional head kick, the stiff jab. Like Volkov's long range striking was very good in this fight. Not a lot of volume, to be fair, but it still worked out for him at the end of the day. He was able to pick apart Costa. There was one moment where it looked like he stunned Costa with a jab. And I see some people say Costa was really hurt by it because he didn't see the jab. I also am in the consensus that some people thought he was playing possum. I kind of think of the latter. I honestly thought Waldo was playing possum because he's known to do that, right? He's known to gesture his opponents, kind of fake being hurt, and then hurt his opponents. And that's what I thought he was doing. Although, like I said, he could have actually been pretty hurt from the jab. It's not unfathomable to think of. So, though, now that said, Costa got his licks in too. There would be moments where he doubled up on the jab and then fire off the right hand. There'd be times where it actually was able to land pretty cleanly on Volkov a few times, and as well as Waldo also hitting his own leg kicks as well. But Volkov, just more experience, better with his range. I'm convinced that guy is not 6'7", 6'7". I think he's 7 foot, to be honest. I think, Aspinall said he's actually like 7 foot tall or something like that. I really believe that because I don't think Volkov is 6'7". No way. He looks taller than Tyson Fury. But off of that tangent, Volkov, like I said, he just was the better technical striker. And there's something about Costa's style I've noticed. When he is the one on the back foot and the one countering, he does better. When he takes on someone who wants to start the striking or just bring the initiative to him, he does better because he's able to fight on the back foot, jab, leg kick, eventually line up the right hand. But when Waldo's the one who has to initiate, he's not as good. I think he does better as a counter striker than he does as a forward pressure striker. This is what I've noticed. That being said, Waldo had his moments in this fight for sure, and he's a top 5 heavyweight for sure. But it was Volkov's time. Here's the thing, though. I think Volkov deserves a title shot, but we're pretty log jammed because we got Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gahn for the interim title. Whoever wins that is going to fight Tom Aspinall, hopefully by the end of the year. So Volkov might have to fight another contender before he finally gets his title shot. I think Volkov has earned it, and I think he should wait till his title shot, but I don't know. You never know with the UFC because let's say Josh Hockey gets an impressive win or just fight in general against Derek Lewis, you bet your ass they're going to try and get Hawk into that title fight first or make him fight Volkov, one of the two. So we'll see how it all plays out, especially with how the White House plays out. As for Waldo, it's a disheartening loss. He's now lost to Pavlovich and Volkov. He seemingly has lost to 2 top 5 guys, but I mean, I still think Waldo's a pretty good talent in this division. I could see him, I think, fighting the winner of Rizvayan Kuniev and Tyrell Fortune. That's what I say. So the awesome for Volkov. Moving up on the main card. In our co-main event, Joshua Van defended his belt by defeating Tetsuro Taira via 5th round TKO, standing TKO. So this got fight of the night, absolutely. I thought this was going to be the best fight on the card, and it held true. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for it because I picked Taira, right? I'm going to defend myself a little bit, and I will say the first round, and for the most part of round 2, kind of played out as I thought it would, or at the very least, my pick was justifiable because you saw Taira immediately press Van against the fence, get the body lock, and then sort of trip him out with an inside knee tap, or sorry, not knee tap, but inside knee sweep. And then from there, Taira immediately gets full mount. But the biggest problem I had was you saw Taira didn't really do any damage, right? That's just the big problem I had. He would do a few times where Taira would do ground and pound, but a lot of it was just holding the position, which is not really gonna work in today's MMA. One, the scoring criteria has changed, so you really got to try and land some ground and pound, or at least be active, like hunting for submissions, or like I said, going for ground and pound, just doing some form of damage. You got to show you're trying to inflict damage, because if you're just holding your opponent, it doesn't work anymore. Secondly, I think it's not just like Joshua Van, but like you saw with Strickland as well in the main event, which we'll get to. But holding down anybody, whether it's full mount, half guard, etc., in MMA today is definitely a lot trickier than it used to be, because a lot of guys are much better at getting up. You just notice it, right? Guys are much better at getting up. And you saw with Van. Van seemingly made the conscious decision to never give up his back. He was fine giving up full mount because he could just shrimp or buck his way up to half guard. And then from there, he would get back up. Now, like I said, round 1 was Taira's, although Van had a few moments in the striking, which definitely started to be how do I want to say this? Just foreshadow what was to come in the fight. Round 2, Taira gets the same takedown, and it looks like Van is having trouble getting up, but eventually he does. He starts landing some bombs on Tetsuro Taira, because Taira, he had good movement. And by that, I mean he could move side to side, good bouncing movements with his feet, but his hands weren't up. And worst of all, Taira doesn't move his head at all. That was the biggest problem he had with Brandon Royval. And it was a big problem with this fight because Van dropped Taira in the second. And then in round 3, the heart on Tetsuro Taira to rally back in round 3 is just spectacular. He got beat the fuck up in round 3 badly. I thought he was going to get finished a few times in that fight. But he was able to rally back, even get a takedown in the last 48 seconds, and then proceeds, in my mind anyway, to win round 4. But man, just the head movement cost him dearly. By the end of this fight, his face was so busted up and red. Like he looked, it looked like he was a red marker, to be honest with you. Just that was how red he was. He looked like a different color. But man, Joshua Van is so fucking good. And then, let me get sidetracked. Round 4, like I said, Taira won. He got the takedown. He had good control time. Van still had some really good moments on the feet. Then round 5 comes, and Taira, he just starts wilting, man. The ending sequence was a teep kick to the body. Then Van proceeds to fire off some body shots, head combos, and then Taira proceeds to give his back and sort of run away. I don't want to call it like that, but kind of the gesture he was making. And that's when the ref stops it. Now, in real time, I thought it was an early stoppage. I did. But looking back on it, I can't complain too much, right? The ref's job at the end of the day is to save the fighter's life from themselves, or stop them before they get viciously beaten up on. And it's not like that fight was going to get any better for Taira. Could he have gone the full 25? Maybe. But I'd rather not risk him getting more brain damage than he already did. And while, like I said, there's one thing I live by. I'd rather a fight get stopped early than stopped late. If it's if it stopped early, you can definitely say you can make an argument for a rematch and stuff like that. But if it stopped late, then that just could be catastrophic. Let's just say it like that. But now Joshua Van's a very interesting position because a lot of people were counting him out as like a paper champion because of how he won the belt. But you know what, man? He a real champion. He defended that belt. Proved me wrong. I mean, I love Joshua Van. I love Tetsuro Taira, and I was definitely torn on this fight. I went Taira, didn't go my way, but all the love and respect. You got to love Joshua Van, man. His fights are never boring. Now, where does this put the two? Well, Joshua Van, he made it obvious, right? He's going to rematch Alexandre Pantoja. And now that we've seen what Van can do against a level of grappler like Taira, I give his chances against Pantoja a lot better. It'll be different, though, because Pantoja is a better striker than Tetsuro Taira, much better chin. I mean, he's got a Holloway-level chin. And I think still a better grappler. He's still the best grappler at flyweight. But you can't doubt Van, man. This guy is just going to get better and better and better, and he's only 24. I mean, there's only two fighters who've ever been 24, a champion, and defend their belts. Van and John Jones. As for Tetsuro Taira, I think he should fight the loser of Manel Kape versus Kyoji Horiguchi. I think that's probably the next step up for him. Though, like I said, I do believe they'll maybe not these two rematch one day, though I'm sure they will. But I do think whoever lost this fight was still going to fight for the belt again. I mean, they still have plenty of time. So couldn't get the job done, but who knows? Maybe he could fight in the future. Still, though, Joshua Van, the Fearless, is still the champ. Now, moving up to our main event. He does it again. Sean Strickland defeats Khamzat Chimaev via split decision. I mean, what else is there to say than, good God, how does he do it? I mean, the man goes at UFC 293, defeats Adesanya, who was at the peak, right? Won his belt back, defeated Pereira, finally defeated his boogeyman. He looked untouchable. And Sean Strickland flies to Australia, and he basically beats the mystique out of Izzy. I know it wasn't like, oh my God, he beat him for 5 rounds, but you get my point. Now, he's a big underdog. He fights the undefeated boogeyman of the middleweight division, the champion now. And what does he do? He takes that motherfucker's O. I mean, there's a lot to break down when it comes to it, but the biggest thing is, like, I want to compliment myself somewhat because I definitely gave Sean Strickland a better chance than I think most people thought. Because I had said Strickland was going to fight back a lot better than DDP was, but I still thought Khamzat was still going to get it over the hill and still win more rounds than Strickland. But that's the part where I was wrong. But I definitely was correct when I thought Strickland would win the later rounds. Round 1, classic Khamzat round. About 27 seconds or so, gets the takedown in, and was able to get to the back, attack the rear naked choke, etc. But Strickland, he did such a great job of fighting the positions. Like there was no moment where Khamzat was able to get dominant position per se. Like, I understand he had the tight waist and was able to keep Strickland by the base of the fence, but it's not like he had his back for multiple minutes, nor did he have full mount for multiple minutes. He still controlled the round, don't get me wrong, but it's not like how he just ran through Robert Whittaker as defenses and then got the face crank on him. Also really shows a big weakness of Khamzat, which I'll get to in a second. But round 2, Khamzat looks awful. Strickland's touching him up with a jab, lands a few right hands. Then eventually he defends the takedown of Khamzat, gets on top of him, and I'm losing my mind going, Sean Strickland, of all people, is able to get the full guard on Khamzat Chimaev. Then Khamzat fails another takedown. What does he do? He falls to his back to play guard. Oh my God. The aura. Khamzat lost his aura that moment. He really did. But then round 3 came, and Khamzat did pretty good in recovering, right? Because he started to show off his striking, and it's pretty good. His jab's pretty good. He does good head movement. He does do good with the hands. But I think Strickland still won round 3 with the jab. And sometimes he would occasionally land the right hand. But that being said, Khamzat did break Strickland's nose in round 3. Round 4, I thought Khamzat won that round because of some of the takedowns and maybe a bit better on the feet. But then it came down to round 5, and I think that was Strickland's round. He landed better with the jab. Khamzat did get a few takedowns, but Strickland immediately got back up, fought the hands, got back to center, and was able to continue striking with Khamzat. I know it's not like the most detailed recap of the fight, but I think Strickland won 3, and 5. Hamzat won rounds 1 and 4. Though I will say in real time, I thought they were going to give it to Hamzat. Just like robbery's not the right word, but I definitely thought they were going to give it to Hamzat to a degree. But rewatching the fight, I think the right call was made. It was an incredibly close fight. And I gotta give credit; these two really sold the fight very well. Like I thought they were gonna hate each other. I thought we were gonna get another Khabib Conor situation at the end of the fight, but no. They touched gloves multiple times. They were like patting each other on the back, like, "Hey, good job, man." And by the end, like the sportsmanship on Hamzat, honestly, it was beautiful to watch. Him wrapping the belt around Strickland's waist when they called him the winner. I mean, you can't get better than that when it comes to sportsmanship. It really is a beautiful thing to see. And Strickland apologizing, saying he was selling the fight. I mean, yeah, he said some fucked up shit. I agree, but at the same time you got to sell the fight sometimes. It is what it is. But more importantly, what does this do for the now 2-time middleweight champion? I think Sean Strickland's top 5 middleweights of all time. I actually think he's ahead of Robert Whittaker. Like, you just look at his resume. Adesanya, Imavov, Brendan Allen, DDP. I know he didn't win the fight, but just think he fought a champion like that. He fought Pereira. He fought Cannonier. He beat Fluffy Hernandez. Like I say, he beat Adesanya. He beat Costa. He now beat Hamza. Dude, he has a great middleweight resume. Jack Hermanson. And it's like, oh my gosh, Strickland has a hell of a middleweight resume. And like I said, I think he's ahead of Robert Whittaker if you're thinking of like all-time great middleweights. Now, I say this because unlike Whittaker, Strickland was able to get the belt back. But that said, I think Izzy and like Silva are still higher than Strickland because they were actually able to defend the belt. Strickland hasn't defended the belt yet. We'll see how this second reign goes, but as of right now, he's not had a successful title defense. That's why I think Izzy and Silva, we're talking accomplishments, are still better in the middleweight hierarchy than Strickland. But that said, man, Strickland's not that far off. And it really shows something, right? Like DDP always did this, but it shows how effectiveness is sometimes better than technique. That said, Strickland is, the best way I can say this is Strickland is such perseverance. What I mean is the way Hamza was able to get like his back at times, the way he was able to control him. You saw how Strickland was very calm, didn't overreact, and it just shows those years and years of sparring. It trains you in a degree. It trains you to be comfortable in bad positions, trains you to be comfortable in bad moments. It just really teaches him, it really taught him to be calm. That's really what it is. And that cardio is amazing. And I mean, not for nothing, Strickland basically won with one arm. Like you heard him in the post-fight interview, he tore his shoulder Tuesday. So he basically went into the fight 4 days before the fight. He tore his shoulder, and he was still able to win. Now, I mean, there's not much to say other than he is the definition of an American underdog for me. Went on, beat this undefeated monster from, Chechnya, not Russia. And what did he do? He pulled off one of the biggest upsets ever. He's now part of UFC greatness, right? He pulled off 2 of the biggest upsets in his division's history by beating Izzy and beating Hamzat. You truly can't predict. You cannot predict it. No matter how good you are. I don't care how good you are at predicting this stuff. There are just some fights where everything you know, no matter what it says on paper, sometimes there are fights that make you throw this out the window. You just can't predict it sometimes. You really can't. And before I finish off, let's talk about Hamzat real quick. I know there was a lot of stuff coming into him, and I know people are going to say, well, he had a really bad weight cut. You know what? I don't care. I really believe Hamzat didn't make weight. Like you saw, that scale was still moving when it was on it. The commission never even touched it. It was sketchy as fuck. I don't think Hamzat made weight, to be honest. But I understand. I believe some of the rumors, right? How I heard he was preparing to move to 205, how he was getting ready to fight Yuri for the vacant belt, all that. If that were to happen, I would have been extremely pissed off. I would have hated it. It made no sense. But then he decided to defend his belt at least once at middleweight. He was saying how this was going to be his last fight. I guarantee you he was looking over Sean Strickland. And you know what? He didn't make weight. That's his own damn fault. I'm sorry. Like, if you're a big Hamzat fan, that's just how it is for me. Like, if you cannot make the weight, that's your own damn fault. Don't sign up to fight a weight you can't make. I'm sorry. That's just how I think of it. You sign the contracts. The other guy is basically killing themselves to make the weight, same as you, and you don't do it. Sorry, that's there's no excuse for me. Well, it really shows a weakness of Hamzat. I've noticed it's he's got great grappling. Don't get me wrong, and he's going to take everybody down at least once. But he doesn't really have vicious ground and pound. You notice that? Like Usman, he mostly just held position. DDP mostly held position, and I don't count these little pitter pats as vicious ground and pound. And now with Strickland, he didn't really get any ground and pound going. Like Hamzat, he's very good at his positional control. He's very good at his wrestling, but his actual damage from those positions is overrated. Now, where they go from here, I think it's kind of easy, right? Strickland, I think he should fight Imavov in the rematch. Nasruddin Imavov is the rightful #1 contender. And, arguably should have had this shot before Strickland. I'm not complaining either way, but I mean, Strickland has a win over him on short notice too. So I think it'd be a good rematch. Imavov has definitely improved. And like I said, 5-5 win streak, beating names like Izzy and Bohali. Oh, that's definitely earned you a title shot. As for Hamzat, he's told Dana White himself. Dana White said in the press conference that he wants to move up to 205. He doesn't want to fight in this weight class again. We have the perfect opponent, Paulo Costa. That's the perfect one for Hamzat. They have beef. I don't know if the beef is still going on, if it's genuine or not, but I know Costa and Hamzat really don't like each other. So I think this would be a great next fight for Hamzat. Paulo Costa. And I got to say, if Hamzat isn't back to form, it's going to be a real struggle in that fight because Paulo Costa is really good, or he seemingly is in better form now. But with that said, that has been my post-fight show for UFC 328. If you enjoyed this video, like I said, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. Until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. And remember, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see y'all next time.